Hello and welcome to this video on materials. I am Alexander Corsi and I'll be showing you the representation of what these are, what's the purpose of them, and why are they in the game. So first we start off with monster materials. Monster materials are materials you find off by killing monsters or find off them already dead monsters. For instance, you have bones. These can be found off areas where monsters have caves and have eaten their food or have lost basically their favorite chew toy, and they basically dug it in the ground and just left it there. But essentially, this is what the leftovers of whether it's the victims they've killed or rather or not, this is just what they've hunted over the years. This, as you can see, is worth almost nothing. It's basically like a trash resource. Then you have stuff like meat, which is essentially what happens when you kill an animal and then you dismantle it. You get basically a certain type of food. Normally, this would be essentially a type of resource you just get from the creatures, and in all actuality, it's not worth a lot. It's like basically finding a nice cut of cow, except in this world, that kind of cut of cow can be freshly kept practically everywhere. So it's not. So there's not many problems with food resources. Rather, the only problems is just making sure, or the cut is really worth it. So as you can see, it's a rare item because it's considered this. At least this piece of meat is considered very, very, very wanted. But of course, the price is very low because meat is pretty much 60% of the market. Now, something like fur is much more difficult because the only fur that some monsters in general can drop is like the wolf, and the wolf is not an easy enemy. So the price of it is much higher than the other two, like triple the price. This is what wolves will drop fur, and they'll drop certain amounts of their pelt depending on how well they were dismantled. Scales are dropped from monsters like dragons, wyverns, lizards. Anything that's a reptilian entity will drop these fine works of that can be turned, these fine scales that can be turned into well-made armor, like the scale armor, for instance. Chitin armor chitin is what you can get from only insect-like enemies. And not much is known about these creatures, as it says in the flavor text. But as you can notice, the cost for a chitin piece alone is double both the fur and the scales, and it's basically the same amount if you combine them. So chitin, fighting any chitin enemies, is worth very valuable. So you can see fighting the hatching spiders, the bee wasps, the wasp basically a lot more, and you just get lots of money from it. But of course, there are other enemies that are as bad as this. This can be consistent of, say, for instance, the dragon bones. Now, the price is actually incorrect. It's meant to be like 50 per piece of dragon bone you get, and having lots of dragon bones means that you've got lots of pieces. So, in this take, dragon bones are extremely valuable, and they're meant to be like 50 gold a piece. A card, basically. Now, this is the bread and butter of the game. These free cards right here. Why? Because these are the cards that that pretty much every monster will drop. A crystal, which is basically a resource used in all aspects of hub life. It powers lights, stoves, cars, electricity. It is simple machines require multiple ones, and it's always in high demand because they're non-renewable. As in, they are renewable. They just run out of energy so quickly. So you always have to buy more ones. Now, Crystal 1, or the first crystal card, is just a small crystal. Crystal times 2 is a medium crystal, and crystal times 3 is a large crystal. They all count the same. So 3 crystals, 3 X1 crystals are the same as 1 X3 crystal. So you can swap them out if you want, or trade them in. But the fact is that the price of, as you can see, the rarity goes up. So that indicates how much more difficult it is to acquire these crystals. Now, something like the rock is common. It's common to uncommon. It's almost worth nothing. So ignoring half of the information on the card, you would just notice the worth of it is 5 gold. Same with wood, and then you move on to something like this, a slime core. This is from a dark slime. Dark slimes drop slime cores. Slime cores are formed of magical power, similar to a crystal, but it's a perfect. It is. It's just basically a perfect energy source. If you were to put this into any energy-based machine, this would run indefinitely. However, put a corrupted slime core in there, and you've turned that machine into a bomb. Because corrupted slime cores are basically just a sense of corrupted and volatile. They are heavily volatile, unstable forms of energy, and at times can cause explosions. And it's why while they're very valuable, they're also very dangerous.